Hey, this is Walter Jones.
This is Austin St. John.
And you're listening to
Ranger Danger.
Go, go, Ranger Danger. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Matt and Michael's Ranger Danger.
Welcome once again to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the TV series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and then we discuss it. Today we're going to be watching episode number 79, entitled 2 for 1. With us today is Michael, as ever.
Heidi.
And Kaley's joining us again. Welcome back, Kaley.
Hello, thank you for having me back.
You could come
It's
back
been a while.
any time you want, except not all the time.
No.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird. I'd just hang around the house and just be really awkward, although maybe I'd get free food.
Maybe. I mean, we do have a lot of food here. So 2 for 1.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's a sail-based episode.
You don't mean like a boat, right?
No,
That
I
wouldn't
mean,
make sense, would it?
If Kimberly doesn't buy a dress from a mall, I think we'll miss out.
What if it's like a magical dress and it's like terrible?
A terrible magical dress.
Does bad things to the world. I mean, it's Power Rangers. It's going to
Would
happen.
it be like
Bad
some
things.
sort of dress that looks like it's different colours based on...
That would be terrible
That's
for Kimberly.
topical now,
Yeah.
but 2 months from now when this airs, people are going to completely forget that.
Can you just imagine Power Rangers shooting in a mall? How weird that would be.
You mean like shooting like a real place?
Yeah, because they never shoot anywhere for this show that isn't...
One of 4 existing sets or an
Exactly.
abandoned something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they must have at some point.
I don't know.
It would cost more money to actually go out, wouldn't it?
Which is
It'd
why
be
they don't.
Yeah.
a bit of a logistical issue because you'd have to rope off areas and
Yeah. And
Yeah.
pay for...
pay for things, I guess,
yeah.
in general.
No one wants to do that.
So before we get too far into this, I should let you all know that we actually have a website on what some call the internet. That's www.rangerdangerpodcast.com. You can send us an email through that very same internet, which is rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send us a Twitter tweet, you can wind up your Twitter tweeting device and send a tweet through to @RangerDcast. We're also on Facebook and iTunes and YouTube and Stitcher, and now we also have a shopper. That's SHOPPE, that sort of shop, where you can get all sorts of merchandise that features our exclusive Power Rangers artwork.
Where's that, Matt?
God, I don't know, Michael.
Okay. It's rangerdangerpodcast.com/shop. That's the place.
I did know, I did so much of that, I figured you should take some of the work.
Right, okay. Well, I think there's other ways to throw that to me than you suddenly getting a bout of amnesia. But, all right. That's fine. So, before we get into it today, a couple of things to talk about. First, Kaley, you started watching Dino Charge.
Yes, I have.
I feel like this is our fault.
It is. I saw that you guys were watching it, and I was like, you know what? I loved Power Rangers when I was little. I want to see what this is all about. And I actually have really enjoyed it because it's making me reminisce, but also it's much better because it's newer. Yeah. Although it still have a few cheesy lines, which is Power Rangers. You have to expect that.
It wouldn't be Power Rangers without it, I don't
Yeah.
think. So
But the outfits are really cool.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed
when
with the
recording
outfits.
this, you will have seen 3 episodes of Dino Charge. So that's a pretty good sample size, I think, to get a feel for the show. So it seems like you're going to have a good time watching it.
Yes, I think I will.
Yeah.
I'll start jumping around the house and pretending to be a Power Ranger like I did when I was little.
Punching your grandma.
Yeah, that's what you do. If you can get yourself one of those plastic Dino Charge swords, I think you'll have a good time.
We should get a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Matt, do you know, and are you able to explain to the listeners what Triple J Unearthed is?
Oh, very broadly. So Triple J is a government-funded youth radio station in Australia.
Yep.
And
I did not know it was government funded.
yeah, it is. It's a division of the ABC, which is the Australian Broadcasting Corporation.
Not your ABC with your TV shows and budget. Our ABC.
Yeah.
With Doctor Who reruns and
Play School.
Play School. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they Play School in America?
No, I don't think so.
Well, Kaley's our resident America expert because she's been
I
there
don't
recently.
think they do. They have Sesame Street because that's American,
Yeah.
but I don't think they have Play School.
That's messed up.
Man, Sesame Street did an amazing House of Cards parody recently that was spot on. Anyway, digressing a bit. Triple J. So, youth broadcasting station, alternative music generally, and Unearthed is where they spotlight sort of unsigned local artists in Australia.
So young and upcoming indie artists can kind of register themselves, put their music on, and the idea is basically if enough people go, hey, this is really cool, they can get airtime on Triple J and that sort of thing. So while I was doing some Googling, I discovered an artist on Triple J Unearthed whose name is Ivan Ooze.
Oh boy, okay.
He goes by Ivan Ooze. Obviously, he's not, the
First
child
name.
of Mr. and Mrs. Ooze.
Yeah.
Would be impressive if he was, though.
It would. He does indeed borrow his alias from his favourite Mighty Morphin Power Rangers villain. I got to be honest, mate. There's better choices than Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a hip-hop artist. Why are you not called Pumpkin Rapper? That's the real question.
I think there's something to be done with Lord Zed as well, particularly because Zed is the Australian name for the letter Z.
Yep.
So there's some cultural ties there.
He toured apparently with Cypress Hill and Ice Cube when they toured here.
Right.
Those are, significant rappers.
I
Yeah.
feel like if you start calling yourself Lord Zed, that sort of goes into a weird territory, though. Like,
Yeah, there's definitely
Lord.
connotations there.
So I thought that we could listen to a piece of his music.
Sure.
And then come back. I don't know if we'll actually play it, but we'll put a link in the show notes.
Sure.
And we'll be back in a sec.
All right, that was some decent hip-hop. Not Power Rangers themed at all, but I guess
Disappointingly, not Power Rangers
I
themed.
guess I can't fault him for that, really.
No, I can.
Okay.
I want more Power Rangers themed hip hop. I don't think that's an unfair requirement.
No.
Maybe you should start a band. A hip-hop group.
We should start a Power Rangers cover band that only do Power Rangers themes.
Well, I think
And Power Rangers related music.
I think we're
Anything that's on the soundtrack to the movie.
we're probably
So like Van Halen.
better placed to do some rap, given that neither of us are singers.
I don't know that either of us are rappers either. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like you'd make less of a fool of yourself singing than you would rapping.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so after episode 200, Matt's going to do a Power Rangers rap.
I'll do that if you do the flip.
I'm never going to do the flip. So
What flip? Like the...
Michael promised to do a flip
No,
for the 200th episode.
Matt promised that Michael would do a backflip for the
Okay.
200th episode.
I can do a front flip into a pool.
Well, presumably you could do a front flip onto the ground as well.
Not necessarily.
I probably could, but I would need like
A mat or
a
something.
mat.
Because
Yeah.
it's possible that you could do a front flip, but you end up on your back, and it
Yeah.
just looks silly on the ground.
Yeah. In a pool it looks alright, but on the ground it looks silly.
Okay. More promises for episode 200 that are just going to be incredibly disappointing. The other thing I wanted to talk about, Matt.
Yeah.
This is episode 79. Mm-hmm. There's 146 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, so we're
This
halfway.
is the first episode of the second half.
Wow.
We are halfway done.
That's crazy. We've really ploughed through. That's a lot. That's 79 episodes. Like, you forget when you're just doing it week to week, but we've done a lot of this stuff.
Yep, we've seen a lot of shit.
We sure have.
So that's just we're halfway.
Halfway.
And I hope the second half is better.
It's certainly going to be different.
Yeah, there's lots of changes that happen in the second half.
Yeah, we're going to start cycling through Zords a lot faster. Cycling through actors
Ninja.
faster. Ninja!
You
Will we
keep
have
saying that. I've never met Ninja.
I know, you will though.
Yeah.
I don't think I have either.
You will too.
Maybe I did, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I was fairly young.
You will know him and you will love him.
Is that a thing? Do people say that in the show?
But
I
now,
don't as well,
now
do
that
you?
now that you've said that I will love him, I will just not love him to spite you.
You can't not like Ninja though. You'll see.
Okay.
Well, Ninja's first appearance isn't for about another 40 episodes, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
That's fine. I can.
We're 2/3 of the way to Ninja.
It's a good way to measure it, I think.
I measure everything by my distance to Ninja.
To or from Ninja.
Yeah. It's like a restraining order. I have to be 6 months away from Ninja at all times.
Yeah.
All right, will we get to 2 for 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do we think it'll be a shop? Do you think there might just be 2 monsters?
I feel like it's probably is going to be there's 2 of something, and that'll be the
You don't
extent of
even
it.
think it's monsters.
Probably not.
It would be nice if the monsters came because of Kimberly's shopping addiction or something like that.
Yeah, but again, I'm skeptical. That seems like too far for the show.
Well, I guess we'll be back in a second and we'll be able to tell you how disappointed we are.
Yep.
So we'll see you then.
See you guys. And we're back. I gotta say, I really liked that episode.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
I wasn't expecting to, but I think this was like a prototypical standard episode, but maybe one of the best executed standard episodes of the show.
It's literally the episode you've been using as an example.
In your head the
Yeah.
whole time. Yep. And I think it takes place in this magical period that everyone thinks of when they think of Power Rangers.
With
which
the
is-
default 5 and Tommy
and
as the White Ranger.
As the White Ranger.
Yeah.
Even though this period of time only exists for like 4 or 5 episodes,
Yeah.
it's sort of so classically good that I think everyone references it in their mind.
Sure.
And yeah, I just had a really good time.
Yeah.
So we start off with brand new opening credits.
Yep.
This is probably the opening credits that I'm most familiar with from my childhood.
Yep.
Except that I was more familiar with it with the New Rangers.
Sure. But the format is the same.
Very much the same. That's
Very
right.
White Ranger heavy.
It sure is. I think they knew who the most popular character was.
Yeah.
So, with talking about the New Rangers, so were you more aware of the Red Ranger being the other guy than you were of...
I sort of experienced both.
Yeah.
I think I watched more episodes with Rocky and Adam and Aisha.
See, I think I may have as well, but I think I have always associated Red Ranger with...
Jason. I was the same
Yeah.
way. Although I saw more with Rocky as the Red Ranger, because I saw Jason first, I think he was always
Yeah.
The Red Ranger.
The Red Ranger to me, absolutely. Yeah. So, should we take it from the top?
One thing in that opening credits, the
Yeah.
Zords don't do the screams anymore when
No.
they appear on screen. I kind of miss it.
Yeah, it is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But they're featured pretty well in
Yeah.
the opening.
And the White Ranger.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. From the top,
Yeah.
Kimberly is indeed. Well, she doesn't have a new dress,
No.
but
She has
She
a
has a
dress that
dress
she talks
that's
about.
very
You actually quite well. There's a dress that features in the episode, and there is 2 monsters, Michael. So, kudos to both of you.
We finally hit the point where you can predict what's going to happen from the title, rather
Yeah.
than the title just being a random sentence that was drawn from a hat.
Yeah.
So her mother gave her like a weird plastic handbag.
Is it?
I
plastic
think
or is
it was...
glass?
I thought it was glass, but I thought the handbag was actually inside the glass case. Was that what was happening?
I thought it was just the glass case.
It was ambiguous. There did seem to be some sort of small
Because
bag
I thought the
inside.
bag inside, the black bag inside was the purse, and everything was in that. But why you would have it in a glass case? Obviously, her mum does not trust her with that purse.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's precious enough to say, yes, you can take it on your date, but you have to keep it in a protective Perspex box.
Yeah.
Maybe you just don't let her take
Yeah.
it out with her.
It-
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why Kimberly even took it, because, like, she's a Power Ranger, bad things happen all the time. Why would you risk something your mum is so in love with, and it's like her favourite thing in the world, apparently, that you would risk it when you're a
knows?
Power Ranger?
So Trini brought a lipstick to loan to Kimberly, at which point Matt gasped, like properly went,
Yeah, I was very excited in that moment because I realised that we'd be getting Lipsyncher this episode, who's a pretty, like, for me, again, prototypical, like, representative Power Rangers villain.
you've said on more than one occasion doing this podcast, like Kimberly has a lipstick and it gets turned into a lipstick monster.
This is the exact episode I was thinking of. That's
This
right.
is the one.
I really like that villain.
Lipsyncher, yeah, Lipsyncher's cool. And
Like,
I
I
think
saw the outfit and I was like, this is a good villain.
not only did I see this episode quite a few times when I was a kid, I think Lipsyncher also appears in the Megazord fighting game, Power Rangers on Super
Right.
Nintendo, that I
Yep.
played a lot, so I have a lot of association with that as well.
Cool.
Did the purse remind anyone else of the English soldiers that have like the big, because the red and the black on the top?
Nope, but okay.
Yeah, looking at a picture, I can see that.
Like it just.
I don't
reminded
think
me-
you're crazy.
That's surprising.
We'll put a link in the show notes for you guys.
Yeah. In this episode as well was a character I was absolutely not expecting to see again, and that was Richie.
So he asks Trini out.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
It was very awkward but adorable.
It was adorable.
he asks her to go study later.
Yeah.
And then he falls over, basically.
They get some romantic music, and he's clumsy because he's fallen in love, as Beyonce would say.
Wasn't it Fergie?
Was it?
I'm sure that we've talked about this show on this podcast
Beyonce
before.
is crazy in love.
Right. Okay, you're probably right. I'm sorry, Beyonce.
I'm sure we've talked about this song on this podcast before because I'd never heard of it before you mentioned it.
That
last
does
time.
sound right, actually. Yeah.
I can't believe that that's one of your really heavy references.
Cultural touchstones.
Is an early 2000s Fergie song.
Anyway, Richie's adorable, and I expect we're probably not going to see him ever again.
He's got one more episode left.
Okay, right. That's cool.
Do they date? Is that...
No. Though I think they probably would have, except for the fact that we lose Treaty very, very soon.
Yes. So just to give you guys some context, and I'm sure it's not spoilers, we've got 2 episodes left
Wow.
with those guys.
Wow.
And then the new Rangers start to appear and we start using archive footage, and then the power transfer is like 5 episodes away or something like that. So we don't have long with these guys at all, really.
Yeah, that's sad. So we get the Balkan Skull music,
Yep.
and in they pop with what looks like a metal detector.
Yes, but it's not a metal detector.
It's a Power Rangers detector.
It's a very bad one. I'm just... like
Much like many of their ideas and inventions, it does not
Doesn't
work
work.
particularly well.
So Trini says, "Oh, shouldn't you be at the beach with that?" And Bulk begins his line with, "For your information," which I'm starting to realise is like a very regular thing for him, to the point where I'm pretty sure we use that in our script.
Yep.
I didn't even pick up that it had been used before, but it's clearly
That's just
embedded
his-
in my
yeah.
head. Yeah.
Because his entire character is like, he comes across as wanting to appear smart.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, I don't want to be at the beach. This is the best place, and I will explain to you why this is the best place.
Yeah. Let me explain to you why I'm brilliant.
Strictly speaking, that is the best place to be trying to detect the Power Rangers.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
They are there all the time.
Yeah. And later when he's at the
machine is
beach,
just
the
very
Power
clever.
Rangers are also there.
Yeah.
So he's got good
I'm
instincts.
starting to wonder, like, whether his machine actually does work and he's just very bad at understanding what it's telling him. Because, like, they were very close most of the time, and he actually went through the Power Rangers twice in the juice bar.
It wouldn't be the first time that he's had a machine that for some reason actually can detect the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Despite all belief, and that's failed him anyway.
If the show said that he had a machine that could detect the fluctuations in the morphing grid that are caused by whatever,
Yeah.
sure, that would be acceptable for this show's science level.
Yeah.
We see later in the episode that the display for this is a needle that goes back and forth very quickly between a smiley face marked the Power Rangers and a frowny face marked not the Power Rangers.
That's a solid gag.
It's incredible.
I think that's one of the points in this episode where I was like, you know what? I'm really having a good time watching
Yeah,
this. This
it's
is...
Bulk and Skull, and I laugh.
Yeah.
That's a solid thing.
Yep.
So Tommy forgot to wind his watch forward.
Yep.
Beaten by daylight savings.
I was so sad for Kimberly. I was like, your date is just very poor at the moment.
She looked crushed.
Yeah, it was very sad. I felt sad for
He's
her.
clearly been training.
Yeah.
Which means he was, like, there at the juice bar. She only just showed up.
Yeah.
She hadn't been there for an hour.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? That doesn't quite work, does it? When
She
he's
could have just gone over to him and said, "Hey, Tommy, I was running a little late. Are you
ready to go.
ready to go?"
Yeah.
She didn't. She waited for him to be wrong.
Yeah.
So, he's got to go change, and he does, into a slightly less white outfit than I'd have expected.
Yeah, I think you called it while watching like an almost racistly a stereotypical Native American outfit.
It's a pair of, like, deep blue jeans,
Yeah.
a white, I guess, like a singlet or a tank top or something,
Yeah.
and then a brown vest with a black headband.
like a tan vest,
Yeah.
almost, which is interesting because we find out later that Tommy is actually of Native American descent. So maybe they were foreshadowing that.
Yep, that's exactly right for this show.
So they're on a date, and it does that thing where we get a montage of them doing date things. But rather than presenting us with like 6 or 7 scenarios, it cycles through 6 or 7 shots, but only 2 scenarios.
Yep. They're either walking along the beach,
Yeah.
or
walking through the park.
Yeah, and being spun around on his back, Kimberly is.
Yeah. And it's weird because it cuts back and forth between these two things, which really messes with your...
Rather than going, like...
Yeah,
in a
chronologically.
sequence,
Yeah. It really messes with your perception of time because it's like, we're in the park. Oh, we're at the beach. Oh, we're back at that time at the park. And now we're at the beach
I mean,
again.
they're Power Rangers. They can do anything they want, really.
I guess.
So, Lord Zed,
Yeah.
he says this sentence. So, teenage love is in the air. How sickening. He's no fun, Lord Zed, is he?
He's a grumpy old man.
He really
is what
is.
he is. And I'm concerned that he created these monsters purely because they were on a date. Like, it wasn't, I'm going to destroy the world. It was, I'm unhappy that they're on a date. I'm going to create these monsters.
He definitely is just a jaded, bitter person. I'm pretty sure was unlucky in love. And that's the only reason that he's evil now.
We've talked about his Tinder profile before. He has no skin, Matt. He has no skin. That doesn't appeal to many ladies.
No, that's true.
There is one.
Later.
Yeah, and I think that's the nice redeeming part of this, is that he will find love eventually.
Or
Highly
doesn't he have to be
dysfunctional.
drugged into it?
Look, he comes around.
Originally.
Look, I'm not saying it's healthy, but
50 Shades of Red.
Yeah. It's a bit like in Harry Potter when Voldemort's mum puts the love potion in, but instead of it ending up bad...
What? Voldemort's mum?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the muggle.
Okay, digression. Voldemort is all, like, unable to love because his
were
mother
conceived during the
drugged
love
his
potion.
father.
Does this happen in the books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They couldn't explain this in the movies.
Right, I must have forgotten about that.
It's in book 6. It's in book 6. It's at the start when they're going through Voldemort's, like,
Stuff.
early stage life. Well, not his life, his before his life. And it sort of shows you the ring that Dumbledore gets.
Yeah.
And it shows you that this is a family heirloom. But it also goes through that she basically puts a love potion in the next door neighbour's thing, who's a muggle, and then they end up together. But then she thinks that, oh, he loves me, but no, it's just the potion. And then when he stops taking it, he's like, what have you done to me? And then she becomes like an outcast of the place. Yeah.
This has been Mighty Morphin Potter danger. I just have to say, I don't do the show notes like straight after we record. I do them once the episode goes up. I've just got a show note here that says Voldemort's mum. That's going to confuse me in a week when I try and remember what that is.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. I haven't read the books since they came out, basically, so
Sure.
should probably go back and do that.
Okay, so Lord Zed decides to create 2 monsters because love is worth destroying twice as hard.
And also, he was like, I'm going to make 2 creatures just for you, Goldar.
Yeah, he says that one of them is for Goldar. I'm like, okay, nothing ever comes of that.
No.
It's like almost sweet, question mark? It's bizarre.
I think it was so that he could then blame him later when it goes wrong.
Right. He does say that he's going to create an extra monster now that there's an extra ranger, which is weird because they've had an extra ranger before for an extensive period of time.
Yeah.
So
there was a whole period where he tried to kill that extra ranger.
Yeah. Who knows?
Okay, look, I know that getting on this show's back about continuity is pointless and unnecessary.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing about how they couldn't make a monster out of an inanimate object.
Yeah.
This week,
You're gonna need to
Lord
let that
Zed
go.
says the sentence, "The Pink Ranger's purse will make an excellent monster."
Yeah. I think this isn't the contradictory bit. I think that
that episode is the dumb episode.
that ruined everything.
Yeah,
later.
but just why write that, knowing that you've already had inanimate objects become monsters,
And then
and
you do it in the
will
future.
have inanimate objects.
They must have
I
grown-
suppose it was targeted towards children who probably would not have remembered this so much.
Yeah, well, I think all it is was when they were writing the episode, they needed a reason to make that specific monster. And they did that thing of, let's give a bullshit excuse and not think about it. So, that's, is what it is. He looks so angry,
He's
Michael.
like, life is terrible.
Alright, so Putty Patroller fight.
Yep.
Solid.
Yeah, I quite like this one.
Tommy does some pretty rad, there's 4 putties coming at him from each side.
Yep.
And he kicks
He kicks out.
two of them,
Yeah.
like, across from each other,
Spins 9 degrees.
does them again, and
Yeah.
does that, like, 6 or 7 times in a row.
It looks very physically impressive, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
I was just very... I laughed when they had the putty roll back up the hill.
Yeah, there's a shot where Tommy kicks a putty so hard it rolls up a hill, which is just footage of reverse of a putty rolling down a hill. There's a shot where Kimberly jumps onto a putty's face with her crotch and then flips it away, which is an intense shot because it's like from the like
a bad way to
perspective.
die.
Yeah, and it's from the perspective of a putty as well. So it's it's intense. I mean, I can understand why I had a thing for Kimberly growing up.
What, because you were a grey, horrible monster?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The plus side of Power Rangers dating is it doesn't really ruin the date. They just continue the date while
Yeah, 'cause
fighting.
it's-
Like in superhero things, when something bad happens, the superhero is like, I must leave, I apologise, and runs off. Where in this, they can both fight and they both know what's happening.
Yeah. The fight starts with a cute bit where Tommy says, "Oh, could I have this dance?" Kimberly takes his hand and then they like hold hands and fight at the same time. It's adorable.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. There's just a lot of nice touches in this episode.
Purse head.
Yes.
What do you call a monster that's its head looks like a purse? I don't know.
Yeah,
Purse head? Yeah, let's go to lunch.
When I heard that, I was like, is that what they called it? Like, I wasn't sure, because I was like, really?
The thing is, that's bad. But later on in the episode, we discover that there's a lipstick monster that has voice powers, and they call it Lipsyncher.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's good. Good
It
work.
doesn't quite make up for purse head, though. So, look, I think at this point we have to accept that the purse that Kimberly's mum lent her is the small black thing inside the glass protective case.
Yeah.
Because purse head does not look anything like
glass.
the
Yeah.
large perspex box.
Yeah, that's why I thought that it was in... Which doesn't make sense, because why would you put a purse inside of a carry thing? Like, the point of a purse is that it is a carry thing.
Who knows?
I don't understand.
And so purse head has a mirror
Yep.
that can freeze the Power Rangers.
Yep.
He gets it out, and Tommy basically goes, "Let's go look at that."
Yeah, that was maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever seen Tommy do.
Yeah, but given how quickly it dispatches Zach a bit later on, it's not like he could have done anything anyway, so
Sure.
it's not like he really failed.
But he didn't have
No,
to
but
run
he looked
directly into
stupider
danger.
than if he was like, what are you doing? Rather than being like, oh, what is that you're showing me?
Yeah.
All right. Their minds have been frozen by the compact ray.
Yeah, so it shoots a ray at both Tommy and Kimberly and they get frozen. It freezes their mind, but it also has the effect of freezing their body.
Yeah, which is lucky, because otherwise they'd just fall over.
Yeah.
They become like zombies. Just
Now, Zordon realizes that this is an issue and contacts
Everyone else.
Zach, Billy, and Jason, who have to then contact Trini because I guess...
She wasn't there that day.
Yeah. And they go to the command center. It's interesting, though, that at this point, Jason and Zach are fighting, and it looked both to me, and then Kaley, you remarked on this as well, that it looks like they're just having a slap fight. Because they're punching very quickly and slapping each other's hands down.
I think that's a thing.
maybe it's a reflex thing, like it rather than actually fisting.
Oh, sure.
Can't we do some of that in the Matrix?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's an actual thing. It just does look like, a slap fight.
So, Trini and Billy have to develop some sort of device that will counteract the compact ray.
Yeah.
Jason's going to go down and try and fight Lipsyncher on his own.
Yeah.
Zach has to go and try and fight Pursehead.
Yeah.
So he goes down, he gets out the power axe, which we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
But it does
Instantly
nothing.
frozen.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they,
I guess...
Shouldn't the people in charge here have been like, look, we don't actually know how to stop the mirror from doing anything. Maybe we should wait.
I guess the idea is that the two rangers there, Kimberly and Tommy, are extremely vulnerable. The monster could potentially destroy them. They need to go in there and at least try and do something about it.
They don't. They fail
Yeah.
miserably.
Zach gets immediately frozen.
Although I did like this particular time of the episode because you see sort of their friendships, how there's Trini and Billy.
Yep.
They're like both the smart sort of... They
The
do
nerds, basically. Yep.
And then there's like Zach and Jason. Who
The cool ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they like get along really well. And then there's the two that are
the couple.
dating.
Yeah.
So I just really like that. It is very... That's how it's like in teenage land. Where it's like you're all friends, but you've got
closer
your
bonds
specific...
with certain people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I like that.
Okay. So, in Jason's fight,
Yep.
he's dubbed.
Yep. Badly.
It's not great. And I just did some reading. The guy dubbing Jason is just one of the producers of the show.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, I'm
No
pretty
way.
sure Zordon was like the sound supervisor.
Yep.
And Curtis, who is Zach's cousin, was also like a boom operator or something like that. If this show needs to fill in, it's just finding crew members and going, will you do it? And they go, sure.
There's some weird decisions, though, because Zach's one fight line is dubbed by someone else as well.
Yep.
But when he calls his sword, it's just Walter Jones's old recording.
That's
that he
stock footage.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which does make sense, but Jason's dubbed, but when he does his sword call, they get the guy who's dubbing that to do it as well, despite the fact that they would have had Austin St. John's call on file.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You're not even consistent with how you're badly covering shit up.
I wonder if it's because whoever's dubbing Jason had just said something, and it would be weird if his voice shifted
Yeah, maybe.
straight away, but I don't know. So the fight with Lipsyncher is pretty, like the Ranger scale fight
Yeah.
is pretty rough because they obviously don't have any footage. So Jason shows up, throws his sword,
Yeah.
which is not how you're meant to use a sword.
Yeah.
We cut to just Lipsyncher now suddenly has a cut
Yeah.
on her face.
She was very upset about it.
Actually bleeding.
Yeah.
I don't know that this show has ever shown blood before.
Yeah, because normally they don't, because the Power Rangers, they just explode.
Yeah.
Like, sparks go everywhere. So you're probably right there. I don't think there's ever been blood. Although perhaps it's not blood and it's actually just lipstick.
It's possible. It's interesting, though, that Lipsyncher getting a cut on her face is all Lord Zed needs to be like, nah, this isn't working, make it grow.
Yeah.
That's not like the monster has to get destroyed.
He's got 3 of the Rangers completely incapacitated.
Yeah.
Very concerned by Lipsyncher's attractiveness.
Oh, I
obviously.
see. He doesn't want
Yeah.
his pretty lady to be
Yeah,
messed up
exactly.
anymore.
Like, she was quite upset about it too, so obviously he was just like...
She's appropriately vain, which I
Yeah.
like. You know,
Yeah.
why not?
Jason summons his Red Dragon Thundersword Warrior mode.
Yep. To fight Lipsyncher and gets his ass handed to him
Yeah.
pretty soundly.
Lipsyncher basically straight away does like a music sound attack.
Yep.
Which incapacitates the Zord.
Yeah.
The Zord puts its hands to where its ears would be. That's dumb.
Look, I could buy that the Zord's audio receptors are where a human's ears are. You know?
Why?
But why does it have
Why
hands? You know, it's like, why does it have a face? It's modelled after a person.
Yeah.
If you're going to go that far, you might as well complete it and do that.
It's just dumb. It's dumb. I noticed the cut on Lipsyncher's face appears and disappears in different shots.
that's what I
It's
was
weird. I
thinking,
don't know why.
I don't quite... Something must have happened, but...
Yeah,
They filmed it incorrectly.
It's interesting, though, that Lipsyncher seems to really have the upper hand in this fight because she has a sword.
Yep.
The Red Dragon Warrior mode should have a staff that should help it out with that, but doesn't use it in this
No.
fight. I don't know if maybe there's a reason in the Japanese footage why that was, but
Who knows?
yeah.
Maybe it's because Jason threw his sword.
So at this point, you know, there's 3 Rangers down, 2 Rangers are frantically trying to do some science, 1 Ranger's getting his ass kicked. Now's a good time to cut to Bulk and Skull to diffuse all of the tension.
Yeah.
This was probably the most pointless scene.
They just walk into the water.
Yeah.
Just, like, until they are underwater.
Yeah. They're not
It's
very
like kind
bright.
of a funny sight gag.
Yeah.
That is-
They're not
like,
very bright. And
com-
because you've just had all the other stuff happening, I feel like you don't need that.
Do you think there's a case to be made that they don't want to stress the kids out too much, and it is actually to diffuse the tension?
I mean, it could
It's
be.
possible.
It's like, it's too dramatic, everyone's getting hurt, it's really scary. Yeah, let's have some silly stuff to calm you down for a second.
It's certainly possible. I wouldn't be surprised to
If that
read
was-
the memo
Yeah.
that says, hey, you can't go for more than 4 minutes without showing
Silly
joke.
things, yeah.
Okay, so Billy's managed to develop a reverse ocular dilator,
Yep.
which sounds like it should just make your pupils shrink,
Yep.
but apparently it's going to...
There's a lot of bad
unfreeze.
techno babble in this episode, but especially really relating to the computers, the command center.
Yeah, they if they overclog them...
Yeah, if they do too many calculations, it explodes, basically.
Although it was during a time where there was very little...
Processing power.
Yeah.
But also they have giant space robots.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
I feel like they've probably got the best computers you can imagine.
You'd hope so. Outside of, like, Batman.
So, Billy goes down, everyone goes down, in fact, except Jason, to unfreeze
Because
the
he's
Rangers.
busy being
Yeah.
destroyed.
Unfreezes them basically straight away.
Yep.
Trini basically single-handedly takes out Purseface, or whatever its name is, Pursehead.
Yeah.
Like, by the time we cut, she says, I'll go distract him. By the time we see her again, he's dropped his mirror, he's dropped his staff, he's just useless.
Yeah, Trini goes to town on that guy, which I love.
So everybody goes, well, okay, well, we're going to go take out, Lipsyncher. So, Tommy, will you be alright? Tommy's like, yeah.
Yeah, man, I got this. I'm Jason David Frank. I can't ever say that I can't handle a situation.
At which point, Pursehead goes, didn't your mother teach you to floss after every meal? And pulls out a giant white container just marked dental floss.
Novelty-sized dental floss container.
And a green, electric rope whip comes out of it.
Yeah.
Although at least we know that Kimberly has good dental hygiene. Because it was in
Absolutely.
her purse.
I loved this bit. This is some, Batman 66 level crazy over-the-top bullshit that I can't get enough of.
Just the line, didn't your mother... he hasn't just eaten... There's no, there's no segue there. He's actually just saying, I got floss. Shit, have I got a joke about floss? No, I'll just say a thing about floss.
I love this too, because this isn't Japanese craziness. This is all American footage.
Yep.
And it's English on the container, so it's not a Japanese prop. So this is clearly something the writers just came up with. And I can't say to them enough, this is the sort of crazy, this is good.
Yes.
Always more of this.
Yes, this is far better than hiding in a bucket of watermelons.
Yeah, and I should say at this point, in our time, not when you're hearing this, we just watched that Power Rangers fan film starring Katie Sackhoff.
Yep.
That's ultra serious and grim. This is what I love about Power Rangers. This crazy dental floss bullshit, not the super serious,
At the same time, I don't know that I want to go to the movies in July next year and see a monster pull out a giant container marked dental floss.
I could not disagree with you more there. If we get a $200 million Power Rangers film that involves a monster pulling out a novelty-sized dental floss that has a laser coming out of it, I will give them $100 for that movie ticket. Wouldn't that be great? Just so entertaining. I would have a brilliant time.
I feel like for that amount of money, you
Could get some really good dental floss, yeah.
and a very big dental floss. But
Yeah. See, the thing is...
I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed either way if it went super serious or if it...
Well, I think Power Rangers is inherently silly.
Yes.
They do have giant giant robots that turn into another bigger giant robot. That's never going to be a practical way to solve a problem.
No.
So there's no point taking that to its logical extreme of being ultra serious. Why not have fun with
I
it?
have to thought that the ultra-serious solution to giant monsters is that they just have a satellite
Yep.
that shoots iron rods from space
Yep.
that accelerate so fast that they just obliterate any monster.
Yep.
It's just, hey, Lord Zed's made it giant. Oh, okay, do a colony drop. Just
Yep.
boop. Okay, well, we destroyed the city, but we also destroyed the monster.
Yep, so we're all good. And, Pacific Rim has giant robots that fight giant monsters, but that's played at that, I think, exact right balance of it's a bit silly and a bit fun. It takes itself seriously, but it's not grim and dark and
Yeah.
gritty.
Yeah.
They know it's a bit silly.
I
And
think we're all in agreement that Pacific Rim is the target.
Yeah.
And if they go a little either way, that might be okay.
Yep, absolutely.
So, Tommy's fucked because he's tied up and,
Yep.
dental floss.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, that's the worst thing for Power Rangers. Luckily, he has a sentient flying sword
Yeah.
with laser eyes.
Yeah.
So Saba just pulls itself
I
out
don't
of
know,
his
are
belt.
they laser eyes? It looked like stardust coming out of it.
Just floats into space in what is clearly just it being dangled from some fishing line.
Yeah.
Shoots some lasers at Pursehead. At which point Pursehead just turns back into a purse.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't explode.
It's easily the most anticlimactic monster destruction we've ever seen on this show.
And I get that there's another
Although
monster for them
I
to take
suppose
out,
the
but
point was that was like the distraction, and then
Who knows?
But
The
it
lipstick
looks
was
like
never,
it
but-
chooses to destroy itself
Yeah.
rather than let a Power Ranger take it out.
Yeah.
it's like I'm done. I'm out of here.
So the other Rangers summon their Zords.
Before we get to this, how do you guys feel about Saba, having seen him in action for a second?
I don't know that the White Ranger also needs a talking flying laser eye sword.
I think it's kind of...
Well, he needed it in that situation, didn't he?
I think that's key to understanding the White Ranger, is he just has a bit too much of everything,
Yes.
which is kind of what makes him cool.
Yeah,
Like-
he's got a White Tiger robot sword
Yeah.
that also turns into a person-sized Megazord that can fight
the
with
thing
everything
is,
else.
I when I was younger, I didn't like Green Ranger very much, but
Is that because he didn't have a talking sword?
No, I don't know what it was. I think it was because he'd just come in and he was like stealing Red Ranger's thunder, and I was like, no, Red Ranger's the best. But the White Ranger I actually really liked, because I remember when I was younger, I had the White Tiger Zord, and I was like, this is awesome, and it was just really cool. But the Green Ranger, I never had that with. I was like, I don't like you, please go away.
Fair enough. I actually had a Saba toy as a kid, and he was pretty rad.
Did his eyes light up and he talked?
Yeah.
I think I
Did
had
he
a friend
fly?
who had one of
He
those.
did not fly,
No.
unfortunately.
But you could do like they do in the show and just put it
On a string.
Yeah.
It would be the same budget as this actual show.
It would look as convincing, yeah. I think it's a cool designed sword.
Yeah.
And the blade is like a cool shape, and it's almost like a scimitar. So,
I guess the idea is like a cool idea.
yeah.
It feels, given that he's already, I'm the coolest and I'm the best and I'm in charge,
Yeah.
it feels like just giving him another
Yeah, but-
unnecessary thing.
But if you're going to be that cool and in charge, why not go all the way?
Yeah, I'm down with that. And I think in the Japanese footage, Saba's pretty important to the Zord and the Zord operation and stuff like that. So I can understand why you'd want to follow that through.
Right, so this is the first time we've seen the Thunder Zords like fight on their own.
Yeah, so the other Rangers summon the Thunder Zord besides Tommy. And yeah, they get to do their own special individual moves. I think it's really cool.
So the unicorn can like telekinesis throw rocks.
Yep.
I was impressed by that.
That's
I thought that was
cool.
cool.
The
Yep.
Griffin shoots fireballs.
Yep. And we also get with the Griffin, which I quite liked, the monster actually attacking the individual sword. Like, it tries to use its sonic booms to destroy the area around it. And it just
Doesn't work.
zooms through the explosions. Looks really cool.
The Firebird makes like a fire tornado.
Yep.
We don't see the lion do an attack.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that its attack in the original footage is that it made an illusion of the show's main villain.
Ah, okay.
So it was like, hey, look over there, it's your boss. Oh, I'll punch you in the face.
Yep.
Which wouldn't make sense because that is not Lord Zed.
Yep, absolutely.
Then they formed the chariot.
Yep.
Babu, is it Babu?
Yep.
He, up on the moon, says, I want to ride that thing.
Which I think is the reaction of every kid watching this.
Yeah.
The chariot's pretty cool, right? I like it.
I do.
I think I like it, again, I like it in theory.
Yeah.
But it kind of does just look like all of those Zords standing next to each other. You know what I mean? It doesn't...
Yeah, it's not like a combination, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
It's pretty cool when they spin around on it, though.
Yeah, it
That
zooms
is
through the
really
air, it
cool.
flips around. They use the staff as like a helicopter propeller. I love it. It's interesting that the footage here is the exact same footage that's used
Of
when-
the flying through the air, spinning attack.
yeah, that we saw when we saw it the first time. But
Yeah.
that's fine. In this, it looks a lot more natural and integrated into the scene. So yeah,
It may be from this episode.
that's right.
Because Lipsyncher is from episodes 5 and 6 of Die Ranger. So that might have been the first time that they did that.
Yeah, and yeah, so it uses its like launching off the chariot while spinning its staff to destroy it. And
Yep.
it looks super cool.
Yeah.
So it's pretty satisfying Megazord fight for me in that respect. There's
Yeah,
just
I'd agree with you.
new stuff. It looks cool.
Interestingly, no cockpit shots at all.
No, I guess because the only real cockpit shots they have for this Megazord is when they actually have the Megazord,
Yes, we've never seen an individual
Yeah.
cockpit shot.
and there's none of that in this episode. So.
Yeah. So Lord Zed's upset at everyone except himself.
Yep.
As usual.
Even though it was his idea and he created the monsters, and really the other guys are just there to be there. They really don't do much.
the rest of the Rangers are down at the beach now.
Yep.
Tommy says, I'm glad we taught Zed some respect for other people's stuff.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
That's not what... You just defeated his monster. You didn't teach him a lesson
He
as
definitely
well.
didn't learn anything. from
If
those
next
things.
week he decides to make your headband into Headbantor,
Yeah.
he's going to do that. He hasn't learnt a lesson.
Yeah.
He's just being optimistic and hoping Lord Zed will change.
It's funny, Headbantor, like, at first blush seems too silly, but then I remember the Wheel of Misfortune, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, actually it could happen.
Yeah. It would just be a monster wearing a headband. It wouldn't be like
A flying
sentient
headband?
flying headband with eyes.
That'd be so
although
good.
it could be now, because they have a flying sword, so who knows.
Bulk and Skull come out of the lake, covered in seaweed.
Yep. It's played off as if they were down there for like an hour.
Yeah, I was
which is
concerned
weird.
for them.
Yeah.
If they are able to do that,
Yeah.
they are the most incredible thing in Angel Grove.
Yeah.
And I'm including the head in a tube and the robot.
Don't forget that Bulk did have a magic bag that was...
That he could contain like a giant sandwich in.
Yeah.
We've seen some shit on this
Yeah.
show.
Like, Bulk basically has Santa's magical sack. So, both of them being able to breathe underwater isn't impossible. Like, they may just be magical creatures that are also kind of delinquents.
Is this maybe why they want to find the Power Rangers? Because they're like, we can only be the magical ones.
Or maybe it's like, oh, our people. There's other people with powers out there. We want to join our community.
So Bulk and Skull walk right through the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Up to a group of kids. There's not really a punchline to this joke.
Yeah, I think the idea is like, oh, they're looking for the Power Rangers and then it's
And then
the
they
kids.
walk straight through it as
Kind of
well.
ironic that not too long from now, the Power Rangers will actually be kids for quite a while. So they're only just like a few months off. They could have been right.
This show is weird, Matt.
Yeah.
This show is weird. You know there's episodes where Bulk and Skull are just monkeys, right?
Yes, I do.
The other thing I noticed
For multiple episodes.
because when we all find out what's happening and how the bad things are happening, it's because they're watching them on the date. And I'm like, do the Power Rangers have no privacy at all now?
No privacy. They're always under surveillance.
Yeah, it's
Both
just
from
like-
Lord Zed and Zordon.
Yeah,
That's just how it works.
I feel a bit sad for them.
Again, as I said, I believe it is a very relevant commentary on the surveillance state and the current state of the world.
I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Even when you were little?
Yeah, especially when I was
You were
little.
watching it and you were like...
I thought once 9/11 happens, this is going to be pretty deep.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah,
really.
that's it.
What did you guys think?
Well, as I said, I had a very good time. I think especially we haven't watched Mighty Morphin in a while
Yep.
in our time, so it's good to come back. It's a good episode to come back to. Having watched that Power Rangers short film, I'm really like, oh yeah, this is the Power Rangers I want now. It's really affirmed for me that I love the silly stuff.
All right, let's play a game
Yep.
called What Was the Plot of the Japanese Episode? Now, this was actually two separate Japanese episodes,
Yep.
one of which we didn't see any footage of,
Okay.
but was just Purse Head was taken from.
Yep.
So, can you have any kind of... I'm just going to do the synopsis.
Yep.
Any ideas as to what Purse Head might have been about?
I guess there did seem to be some sort of vanity theme because it was a beauty-themed monster that reacted badly when it got it cut on its face. But that's about all I've got. It's very hard to do this because
Did
we
it
don't
have
really...
anything to do with, like, Medusa kind of thing? Being the whole freezing?
Okay, so Purse Head is called Purse Priest.
Yep.
The episode is called It's Chi Power. Shoji tries to redeem himself after he fails to stop a boy from being abducted for a Gorma sacrifice ceremony.
Whoa!
So, Purse Priest is the executioner for Gorma sacrifices. His attacks were characterized by sending, flying at his target, hundreds of gourds carved with smiling human faces.
Man, Die Range is so much cooler than Power.
And
This is so much darker.
The purse
I'm
opens
scared.
up, and he's got like a red Sontaran head inside the purse.
Amazing.
I'm a little disappointed that they didn't think he was worthy of an episode all on his
Well,
own.
I think they're probably too scary is what they decided.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
I would have been a bit terrified when I was younger watching that.
Yeah.
So, Lipstick Songstress, on the other hand, a swipe of her lipstick across a woman's lips turned the victim into a controlled slave,
Okay.
which is reasonably consistent with...
I mean, mind-controlled lipstick is a surprisingly frequent trope in media for some reason.
some inexplicable reason, yeah.
Wasn't there something... No, that... Well, I mean, it was lipstick, but it was because it was red kryptonite.
Oh,
So...
let's not use Smallville as a relevant example ever for any reason.
I keep saying we should have done a Smallville podcast.
No. That would make me much angrier.
Lipsyncher, or the Lipstick Songstress, got a two-parter
Wow. Pretty big deal.
called The Jewels Have Come and Wind Cut Through.
Alright.
There you go.
Interesting.
Creature feature.
Ranger Danger Creature Feature!
Let's start with purse face, purse head.
Yep.
Purse.
Percy.
Percy.
Percy. That would be a better name.
What did we think?
Not great.
No.
But look...
But reminded me of the English soldier things that stand guard at Buckingham Palace. So...
Look, love the dental floss. Tamira was a little interesting. So definitely not lower half of the list, I don't think.
Okay.
Somewhere around the middle.
Alright. Better than Samurai Fan Man?
Yeah, I think so. The more I think about the dental floss thing, the happier I am. So
Better
You just
than,
ignore everything else and just focus on the dental floss.
Yeah,
Like,
Better than
yes.
Fang, the slightly racist stereotype who wanted his Gooney Bird eggs?
I think so.
Okay, we're moving up. Better than Pine Octopus?
Oh, Pineapples is pretty good. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I don't think better than Pine
Okay,
Octopus.
no.
Better than Slippery Shark?
Yes, Slippery Shark was cool, but also annoyed the hell out of me. And that's not true of Percy.
Alright, what about better or worse than the Mutant Rangers? Which were just the putty patrollers that got the powers of the Power Rangers.
I think better.
Okay. Do you remember Oysterizer?
Yeah, vaguely.
Better or worse than Oysterizer?
I think worse. Oysterizer is a pretty consistent villain.
Alright, so between Oysterizer and the Mutant Rangers...
Yep, that sounds good to me.
puts him at number 38.
Not too bad.
No. What about Lipsyncher?
Probably a little higher. Because I think, I don't know about you guys, I think Lipsyncher has a really cool design.
Yep.
That sword's pretty cool, has a cool power, is involved in a cool Zord fight. So,
Better than Goldar?
I think the relevance of the vanity as well in
Yep.
relation to...
yep, a good thematic link.
Yeah.
Where's Goldar? Like, who's around Goldar?
Goldar is number 29.
Yep.
At number 28 is Scorpina.
Yep.
And at number 30 is Babu.
Right, what are the classics around there?
Yes.
If anything, I'd say higher than those guys.
Okay, higher than Babe Ruthless?
Oh, that's hard. Babe Ruthless is so good. I don't think so. I can't...
Okay, immediately below Babe Ruthless is Guitardo.
I think better than Guitardo. What do you think?
Yeah,
Michael?
that feels about right.
Yeah.
Which is actually going to bump Purse Head down a rank because we're shifting everyone from
Sure.
the top. But that puts Lipsyncher at number 25.
Right, okay. That's, respectable. I think the top 25 is classic monsters. That's like really good ones that you'd want to see again.
Yeah, Invincible Flytrap,
Yep.
Polluticon,
Yep.
Trumpet Top,
Yep.
Gnarly Gnome,
Yep.
Sockadillo,
Yep.
Rapping Pumpkin.
Hell yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Kaylee.
That's all right.
Will you join us for another one?
Yes, I will.
All right, well, we'll
Back
see
for the
you,
next
Kaley,
episode.
next week, and we'll see you next week as well, listeners.
Episode 80, Opposites Attract.
Yep. And in between then, you'll probably be able to hear another episode of Dino Charge, unless it's stopped
Maybe.
airing.
I don't know at this point because of the weirdness of the time dimension.
I wish you could see the lip hand gestures that Michael's doing right now.
It's not like it's that odd for him, though. Like, this isn't an odd occurrence
No.
for him.
Cool. See you next week, guys. Bye.